I really don't like using this word because the mainstream media uses it all the time, but I was actually shocked last night. I'm not going to lie, I was shocked. And this is coming from a person that has seen a lot of stuff, both on the internet and in real life. So to be shocked for me is quite rare. And to admit that I was shocked is even rarer. And the reason that I was shocked is that when you live in Eastern Europe, you look at America as this bastion of democracy, this bastion of freedom. Like here in Europe, we had fascism, we had communism, we had a lot of dictatorships. But in America, they always had freedom. And when you notice that they're Mexicanizing their elections, and I say this because across the border there have been a record number of political assassinations, it is becoming a little bit concerning, isn't it? And the way that the media is downplaying this is even more astonishing. Like, I read headlines, Trump fell down at the rally. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like, that happened, but, like, if you actually didn't see the footage, you would read the headline and you would think that, oh, well, he fell down the stairs and maybe he got injured. And not the fact that we just witnessed a historic event. And it is going to be a historic event. I mean, the picture is absolutely monumental. I'm willing to bet that it is actually going to be in the history books. And what I think happened, because I watched the footage again, like, in the beginning, Trump was actually shocked about what is happening around him. Like, he couldn't just understand. But I think, like, when he was on the ground, something just clicked on him. Something just clicked. He gets up, and the Secret Service is escorting him out, and he says, wait, wait, wait. Like, at that point, he realized that he's experiencing a moment that many of us don't even get to have in our lifetime, which is like a rare historical opportunity. And he does the fist pump. He's covered in blood, he's got like the American flag behind him, his supporters are cheering, does the fist pump. That's it. I genuinely think that won him the presidency. I think that's when he got elected. Like, right now, we're just going through the motions and going past the formalities. I don't know how the left is going to manage to recover from this. Because, elections aside, for some mysterious reason, leftists manage to have really great PR. To the point that when you debate the leftist, like, people actually look at the leftist with respect and admiration. They consider them to be like the decent member of society. And the right-winger, even if it's like a moderate, he's the far right. He's the extremist. So you can have a leftist go around and say, yeah, we want to take away your gas stove. We want to take away your air conditioning. We want to tax you to oblivion. We actually want to pass legislation that favors criminals. Like, if someone steals less than $1,000, that should be a misdemeanor. If someone has AIDS and willingly infects another person, that should be a misdemeanor. Like, they can say the most extremist thing ever imaginable, and yet they are considered the decent members of society. And meanwhile, anyone that opposes them, and is even like a remote moderate, they're the extremists, right? Like, they're the far right. They're the people that the companies need to shut down their accounts, to shut down doing business with them. And I don't know how they did it, but like they managed to have like this amazing PR, this absolute excellent PR, where they would go around and propose like anything they wanted, and they would manage to get their way. And still be viewed as a virtuous person. You know, that they would go around and they would bully kids like the Covington kids, completely out in the open, blackmail people on Reddit for insulting CNN, like all that nasty shit. And they would still have good PR. And anyone on the right, like, they were being viewed as the evil people. I don't think they can get that image anymore. Not after this. Not after this. And what's more interesting is that the left has controlled the censorship online. I mean, we're not even talking about slurs. No, like if there is some real shit going on, if, you know, that there was a terrorist attack, or if there's a sexual abuse case, you just can't talk about it on social media. You just can't talk about real life things like that actually happen in the world. You can't talk about the news unless you're part of the corporate media, because if you do, you get suppressed by the algorithm. If you put it in the title, it gets banned, it gets demonetized. Like they have created a system in which metaphors are being considered problematic. So, for instance, Steve Bannon, I keep saying this, he got his YouTube channel banned. And I was like, well, how did he get his YouTube channel banned? I mean, obviously he knows the game. Obviously he knows the terms of service. Like, what exactly did he do in order to get deleted from YouTube? And the answer was he used the metaphor. He said, if Trump gets back into the White House, heads will roll. Which obviously means that, yeah, there will be consequences. Like, it's a metaphor. Everyone knows it. And yet they took it literally and they banned him for inciting violence. Another example of a similar situation is the word bloodbath. Like, Trump actually said this word, and the mainstream media, you can Google it, everyone was freaking out. Oh, bloodbath this, bloodbath that. Oh, how can you say something like that? That's encouraging people to violence. And now after this, people are looking at what the Democrats and the media were saying non-stop for years, comparing Trump to Hitler. You even had the US president a couple of days ago saying that you need to put a bullseye on Trump. You have Nancy Pelosi saying that this is not a normal election. Donald Trump must be stopped. He cannot be president. Like, a lot of these things, right? So, like, applying the same logic where metaphors are now considered hateful, yeah, I don't think you're going to have good PR. It's not good optics. It's actually bad optics. And I think we're going to witness a turning point because a lot of people were priming for this stuff. Like you notice that even leftists are starting to get fed up with this shit. And it's not just the policies, it's not just the ideology, it's the culture as well. Like, I've seen it with Bud Light, and I've seen it with Target, and I've seen it like people are just fed up of the hypocrisy. It's not about like the special interest groups. It's not about like LGBT or trans or that. It's the hypocrisy where you have corporations that have absolutely no moral scruples whatsoever. Like, you look at the way they're treating their employees, absolutely disgusting and horrible. You know, putting them in the wage cage, forcing them to work under crunch, and then giving them as little money as possible, little benefits as possible. But these corporations are left-leaning. They're progressive. See, they're compassionate, they're empathetic, they care about the environment. But they have no problem doing business with countries like Saudi Arabia while lecturing about feminism in the United States. And people are so fed up with this garbage. They are so fed up with this shit. The level of hypocrisy that is just constantly being pushed. You got a company that, I don't know, sells something like cream or whatever. And then they slap a rainbow flag on it on July. And instead of selling it for $5, now it's $15. Because it's like the Pride Month special. And it's so obvious. It's so in your face. Even gay people are complaining. And everyone is sick of it. They just needed a reason to come out and basically say, yeah, you know what? This is fucked up. And I think like this may actually be it. I believe that we'll see a lot of actors and celebrities and influencers and business people all of a sudden coming out and be like, yeah, you know what? I support Trump. Because up until this point, it was politically incorrect to do so. Like, if you were in a left-leaning circle, if you were part of a left-leaning clique, and you came out supporting Donald Trump, you'd get canceled. But now you can say, well, I support him because this is unreasonable. Like no one should be targeted for assassination. This is just horrible. This is not the way America should be, like, blah, 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 blah. We cannot let hate win. I mean, what can be more hateful than this? The interesting thing, right? Like, our democracy this, our democracy that. Like, what is democracy? Is Trump just coming up and telling people how to think? Or is it that people have grievances and they need politicians to represent those grievances? And those grievances are just basic bitch. Like, they're not asking for radical change. Like, they're asking for a lower of crime rates, they're asking for lower of taxation, and they're asking for controlled immigration. That's it, right? Like, just like the same things that the Democrats would have advocated for 30 years ago. They're not asking for, like, anything extraordinary, right? They don't want the monarchy. They don't want to put the crown on the descendants of George Washington. They're not asking for, you know, creating an ethno-state in the U.S. Like, none of that is happening, right? They're not asking for anything extremist. They're not asking for women to be unable to work. Like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, hey, can we have the country that existed in the 1990s or the early 2000s? Like, can we revert back to that? Just 20 years back, like the policies that were there, can we have them now? And those are the hateful bigots, right? Like, those are the awful people. Meanwhile, the good and decent folk are on Twitter celebrating this. Like, I have seen left-leaning political commentators celebrating this. Go and see Destiny Stakes. Very interesting. Many others like him. It's just fascinating. My favorite one is the fact that people consider this to be staged, right? Which, to be fair, if you're a skeptic like myself, I also consider it may have been a possibility, right? Like, there's been like 10 minutes after the event happens, you don't know any information, and that picture, like, looks so iconic, you can actually say, well, did they stage it? Because usually when there's an event, you're asking, okay, well, who's to gain from this? Who's going to gain from this? And obviously, it's Trump. So like, the possibility of the person that has to gain can actually orchestrate the event exists. Like, to say it's zero is being dishonest, right? But like, the very moment it was revealed that actually 2 people died, like, that's not something you can fake. That's not something that you can hire actors to perform. Like, no, like, it was a crowd of people, right? Like, it wasn't a separated event at the CNN headquarters. Like, it wasn't in broad daylight, the police were involved, everyone got to see what happened. There's no way that this is fake. And yet, you still have people on Twitter thinking that actually the time of the bullets and the angle and like, but why did he miss? And are they going to get Alex Jones? I'm not asking for the same amount of damages. I'm not asking that they should pay the same amount that Germany owes to Poland for World War II reparations. But surely, like, if we follow the morality and the culture, they should be labeled as conspiracy theories and banned from everywhere, right? Because that's what we do in 2024. Like, if you don't have, like, the correct opinions on things and you're wrong, then you're spreading harmful misinformation and you need to be censored, right? Isn't that what we do? Did we stop doing that now? Interesting. Fascinating. No, I'm just asking for consistency here. I'm asking for consistency. Like, if things were like this up until now, why would they change all of a sudden? So, yeah, I'm looking at how the media is spinning this. I'm really curious what they will come up with. I'm thinking that PR firms are going to work overtime trying to find any way to spin this somehow. I saw, to my shock, people were already talking about gun control. I thought that they wouldn't. But it's the left that's talking about gun control. And it's like, well, they were already controlled. Like, the guns were controlled. You weren't allowed to bring a gun to the event. So like, the system was in place. Now you can say, well, actually, we want it into the nation. It's like, okay, but you don't control the border. What's to stop members of the cartel bringing guns over the border if you don't control the border? Too many questions, I know. Difficult to answer. So, I guess, like, this energized the election, because up until now it was interesting, and I would say, well, it wasn't like 2016 levels where people were like really hyped up and they were energetic. Like, most people were very pessimistic or just calm, and they were like, oh, okay, I mean, maybe he's got a chance, we don't know. But after this event, I see right-wingers insanely energized, and I see actors and celebrities just coming out, yeah, I fully endorse Trump now. And you had never seen them before doing that. But now they're like in the open. It's like, no, if you don't agree with me, fuck you. Because the PR is gone. Like, it's no more, oh, this is the party of decent people and this is the party of the bigots. And again, I hate to say this, imagine if the roles were reversed, right? Like, imagine if a prominent leftist had something like this happen to them. I mean, the level of censorship alone on social media would be astonishing. Like, all of a sudden, they would go after literally every single person that remotely criticized that politician in the last 2 months. And then they would start going after people and having, like, new terms of service on Twitter and YouTube and all these other places. And they would be like, we need to do more to crack down on extremism. And then they would have, like, all the government agencies focusing on extremism. Like, can you imagine? No, seriously. Just like, think what would happen if the roles were reversed. And the mainstream media, the articles, the headlines, and all of that. And the reality is that most people are aware now. Like, they know. So this is why they're so outraged. It's not the outrage just because the thing happened, but it's also the outrage because of how the reaction to the thing is like. Like, they know how the reaction to the thing would be if it was on the left, and they don't see that happening on the right, and they feel as being mistreated and neglected and unheard. And I think, like, this is what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. A lot of celebrities are going to come out and they're going to pledge support. And the level of donations for his campaign, Jesus. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.